Holy hell, this is what I've been looking forward to. Swing away, enthusiastic nature. Whee! Ah! I'm never handling a web shooting again. Yeah, I may have fooled myself, didn't I? Well, at least this review ought to cheer me up. Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm back with my reviews of the late films to review for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and my god, this is the movie that I was looking forward to reviewing and watching the most for my Marvel Cinematic Universe reviews. In fact, it was the movie I was looking forward to the most in Phase 4, because today I'm finally here to review, which is quite possibly the greatest live-action Spider-Man movie of all time, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Oh boy, this is going to be a really big web to shoot. Let's get started. So, the plot of Spider-Man No Way Home takes place after the mid-credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home, where things are not looking good for our poor webhead Spider-Man, because not only was he framed as a murderer by Mysterio, so now everyone believes that he killed Mysterio, but Mysterio also revealed Spider-Man's identity to the world, so now everyone knows he's Peter Parker. So life's not going too well for poor Pete. Feeling that this is affecting himself, his friends and his family, he goes to the help of the Sorcerer Supreme, or not really Sorcerer Supreme, oddly enough, Dr. Stephen Strange, to make a spell that will wipe out everybody else's memories so everyone doesn't remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But due to Peter's naivety to the spell, it messes up, and now Peter is caught in a multi-dimensional battle, or adventure I should say, because he ends up coming across villains from different universes, or should I say, villains from different Spider-Man movie franchises. So now, here we go! Yeah, that's a really nutty adventure story, and it only gets better from there. So after the end credit scene of Spider-Man Far From Home, this is the movie that I was looking forward to watching the most in Phase 4, because it was one thing that I was not expecting, that I've always wanted to see, and that is, what if Spider-Man's identity was revealed to the world? What if everyone knew that Peter Parker is Spider-Man? So I was just so excited to see this. Not to mention, when they announced that these villains were coming back, I was even more excited when I heard that Jamie Foxx was coming back as Electro, Green Goblin was coming back with Willem Dafoe coming back, Alfred Molina back as Dr. Octopus. It just seemed like something that was very interesting to see these villains come back in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, because I feel like they're taking the whole multiverse idea to the advantage in this new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's kind of becoming like the multiverse saga. And after watching the movie for the first time, I loved it a lot, and after watching it a second time, it got even more better, because this is one of the greatest superhero movies I've ever seen. Is it the best superhero movie? No, I wouldn't say that. Best movie? Nah, of course not. Best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? It can be debatable a few times. Best Spider-Man movie? Again, it's debatable because I'll have to watch Into the Spider-Verse again. Best live-action Spider-Man movie? Holy hell, is 100% not explaining. Yes, It is the greatest live-action Spider-Man movie I've ever seen, bringing so many things together in what, in my opinion, feels like the end game of the live-action Spider-Man saga. So, what is great about Spider-Man No Way Home? Well, first off, the acting is stellar. This is by far the greatest performance Tom Holland has given for the character of Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. He brought 150% into this role, because this is by far the darkest that Tom's Spider-Man has ever witnessed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, I wouldn't say Infinity War and Endgame, although Endgame did end with it being really dark because he witnessed the death of his former best friend slash boss, I should say. But just seeing what he does in this movie is just so heartbreaking, and you worry for him. Now he's framed as a murderer, but now he knows that they know that he is Spider-Man, so he can't show his face around in public without having to look like worried and all, and you just feel for him, you feel for his friends, you feel for his family, and you just want to see this guy succeed. You really want him to prove that he is a hero and not a murderer. But later on, the harder he tries, the more damage he causes and the more traumatic pain that he causes to other people and himself, and that just makes us even more sympathetic. His dramatic scenes are probably the most dramatic scenes that I've ever seen Tom's Peter Parker in, because a lot of these things almost brought like a tear to my eye. It made me feel worried for him. So I applaud Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man, because if you witness his story from when he was first introduced in Civil War and continue with his journey later on, it really felt like a little bit of a coming-of-age story for him, and by the end of the movie, you feel proud of him, but you also feel like, oh man, I can't believe this is how you have to end up. So, I wonder what his future will be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I honestly can't wait to see him in more movies, but I'm also questioning what they're going to do with this story now that he has this by the end of the movie. And that's what makes Tom's Spider-Man really stand out, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. Well done, Tom. I salute you. And also, we have the return of Peter Parker's friends, MJ and Ned. Ned is a lovable oaf as always, and MJ is such a caring, compassionate woman. You buy that she cares for Peter so much, and she puts herself in danger just to protect him, but she also has the witty banter back and forth between her and Peter, and I ate up all of their scenes together. You can tell that they have real chemistry in real life, Tom Holland and Zendaya, because, you know, they're really close friends, so that's why you buy their chemistry, and I just rooted for their relationship so much. Like, whenever something has to happen between the two, I just want them to stay together. I didn't want them to fall apart. Then we have Aunt May, who I really loved in this film. I mean, she has, like, concern for her nephew and comes up with witty banter to other people when they start like hating on Spider-Man, and she just stands up to them, but also comes up with clever ways to stand up to Peter, because she has like a moral compass and convinces Peter that the moral compass is a good thing, and it just makes me buy her relationship with Peter, and it ends up making things so heartbreaking later on between the two that almost brought a living tear to my eye. Just hits you right there. Now, those are all the MCU characters that really stood out this movie. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange was also really cool. Like seeing him communicate with Peter, hilarious situations between them. But now that we've got those MCU characters that I really stood out in this movie, let's get into what you actually want me to talk about. And that is the return of the villains from these different Spider-Man movie franchises. And no, that's not a spoiler, that's in all the trailers. I won't spoil what happens in the movie, just in case you haven't seen the movie, but in the trailers, they reveal these villains to be in the movie, and they are spectacular. I loved seeing them again. Like, got Alfred Molina returning as Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus. He is still fantastic. I like seeing him, like, thinking about his, like, mission. Like, he starts off as very grumpy and not caring for anyone else, but later on, when he gets redeemed, he shows concern, and that's fantastic on Alfred Molina's part. We also have the return of Jamie Foxx as Max Dillon, aka Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. He's also really great, And he has like a bit of a change of character compared to what he was in TASM 2. Not just the fact that he looks different, but he feels more chilled out and a bit douchebaggish compared to the lovable oaf that he was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I liked that Jamie Foxx has a change of character to him. But the one villain that really stood out, and who is, in my opinion, the one that really stole the show, is, of course, Willem Dafoe returning from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. My god, he put all of his effort and charm into this movie. It was just so awesome to see him again. I mean, it feels like he hasn't played the character in like a long time, so when he was given the role again to return to this character, and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it feels like he knows exactly what he wants to give to the character, and he really took the spotlight from all the other villains. He's so over the top that you can tell that he's clearly having a blast playing this character again. But even more so than in the original Spider-Man, he's actually legitimately creepy in this movie. I mean, Dafoe was a lot of fun as the Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man, but I felt like he was more over the top and funny than he was creepy and menacing. There was nothing really, like, intimidating about him. But this movie shows his strength and his capacity that we've never seen before. And not only is he perfectly over the top, but he's also legitimately kind of creepy. It just feels like he hasn't thrown a pumpkin bomb at his performance in years, and that's what he gave to the table. So those are the 3 villains that really stood out in this movie, especially Green Goblin again, but there's 5 villains from the previous movies in this movie, like Green Goblin, Electro, Dr. Octopus, and we also have the Lizard and Sandman from The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3, but I'll get to those later because I feel like those were probably the weakest links in the group of villains that we got, but it's still cool seeing them and back again, because just seeing these villains back on our screens in a long time after their movies never really got like full resolutions by their end of their characters. It's just so satisfying to see. But what I do love about this movie is that they are not really introduced until half an hour into the film, and even beforehand I didn't really mind that they weren't in the movie because I was more invested in the story and the characters by what they're going through, what Tom Holland Spider-Man's family is going through, and it just made for some really heartfelt moments between the family that I didn't even notice villains were going to be in the movie. Even the second time around, I actually forgot that the villains were going to be in the movie later on, but when they are introduced, it's awesome. Again, Willem Dafoe stole the show. That rhymes a little bit. Visual effects are spectacular. Looking at them on the big screen is just so awesome to see. Like, if you watched it in 3D, you would be very intrigued by how the movie looks, because a lot of these scenes looked incredibly awesome and thrilling that it feels like you're just mesmerized, like you're in a virtual reality state. And the score is incredibly amazing. Like, Michael Giacchino, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, he not only scored the last other Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but he also scored Doctor Strange. And you can hear a lot of themes from their movies a little bit, but he also comes up with some new themes, and the emotional themes are incredible. Like, there's this one called Exit Through the Door that is just so painful to listen to, that is just amazing feat. And going hand in hand with the visuals and the score, of course, is the action. And the action scenes are very creative, intense, and very brutal from time to time. I would not expect that. Like, this is one scene that combines like the visuals and the action that just made it look beautiful and mesmerizing to look at. It looked like a fight scene that would be in Doctor Strange. And coincidentally, Doctor Strange was in this particular scene. Also, in my opinion, this has to be probably the darkest live-action Spider-Man movie I've ever seen, because it's some things that you would not expect, not just in, like, horror scenes, that not really is horror, but just more creepy, I should say, but there's just so many things that puts you in the brain of these characters. You see what these characters are going through. Peter can't go around and expect everything to be fine now that everyone knows that he is Spider-Man, but also they believe that he killed Mysterio. In fact, this whole movie happened because, well, Mysterio was being a douchebag in the last movie. Damn you, Quentin. But this movie definitely explores how much darkness could be created with Spider-Man's identity being revealed and him trying so hard to fix it but never truly getting the mark. And there are so many scenes that really almost make my tears shiver, that almost maybe came out of me and tug at my heartstrings, because this is the most dramatic I've seen of these characters in terms of a Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. But the one thing about this movie that combines all the elements together that I absolutely am enthralled by is the second half of this movie. Without any spoilers, the second half of this movie is where everything comes full circle. All the dramatic scenes are saved for the second half. All the coolest action is saved for the second half. All of the character moments are saved for the second half. And all of the cheering moments are saved for the second half. And all the surprises and thrills are saved for the second half. Because there are things in the second half that we have been wanting to see for so long, and they finally showed it. And again, no spoilers. Trust me, the second half is what us Spider-Man geeks have been looking forward to the most. And honestly, I have no big issues with this movie. Everything about the movie is total perfection in terms of being an MCU fan and a Spider-Man fan. But there were just a tiny little nitpicks, and they really are nitpicks. Like I said, there are 5 Spider-Man villains from different Spider-Man movies. Like I said, that we have Green Goblin, Electro, and Dr. Octopus, but we also have the Sandman and the Lizard. And the Sandman and the Lizard, they're good for what they do, but they just never really held the mark. And there's just so many parts of the movie where I actually questioned why they were even there. I mean, maybe it's to build up a Sinister Six, but there wasn't even a Sinister Six, which really disappointed me in this movie. But they just, like, never really took the mark like the other 3 villains did. Like, in my personal opinion, this isn't really an issue, it's just something I noticed, but I never really felt like the Lizard needed to be in the movie, because he never really added anything to the plot in terms of pushing the story forward. It's just another obstacle for our heroes. Plus, his design looked a little weird. I mean, I feel like his design was much more fitting in The Amazing Spider-Man than he did in this one, because his mouth just looked a bit, well, cartoony. But again, it's a super big nitpick. Everything else is just what we've been waiting for years. This is why I was looking forward to seeing Spider-Man No Way Home again, because it really is the best live-action Spider-Man movie ever made. In fact, it has a great timing of 2.5 hours, but the movie was so good that I actually wanted the movie to be longer, like just keep going. I just love the character moments and so much. Like me, I'm not saying the movie wasn't enough. In fact, what's not enough is actually just wanting more, because part of me kind of wanted more, and I cannot wait to see what these characters are going to go through later on in the MCU. It's great seeing Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin and the rest of the villains back. Tom Holland is at his greatest as Spider-Man. The character moments were very relatable and dramatic. The dramatic scenes were very heartfelt. There are so many hilarious moments, as usual. The action is fantastic. The second half is where everything breaks loose, and there's just so many cameos and characters that pop up that you really are just thrilled to see in the cinema, that I just really want to watch this movie again for a 3rd time, at least. Like, the 3rd time watching it fully. Because this film is gonna get, without a shadow of a doubt, a 5 out of 5 stars. It is a masterpiece of a movie, and if you're a fan of Spider-Man, if you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or you just want to see a really fun action movie, go see it. It is just, to quote it with me, let's all say it together now, amazing. But anyway, what do you think of Spider-Man No Way Home? Do you love it as much as I do? Are you a huge fan of Spider-Man that really gave you the sensation you felt? Or, I'm not even going to ask if you don't like it, because I'm pretty sure everybody loves it. Although if you don't like it, why? And what is your favourite Spider-Man movie? Let me know in the comments section below. And I do hope to get more reviews done soon. Plus, the 2nd volume of Stranger Things Season 4 is almost out, so once that is released, I can finally give my review of Stranger Things Season 4 that I've just been looking forward to a lot. I cannot wait to talk about season 4 of Stranger Things. I loved seeing the characters back again. But anyway, I'm Daniel reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click that bell notification so you don't miss out on a single video. And I'm the Spidey boy going swing past you. Till then, peace out, man.